Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm going to be answering a question, which is, should you bulk, cut, or recomp? So the first question is it actually possible to recomp? And the short answer to that question is yes, 100%, okay? Who can recomp and what factors do play a role in a recomp situation? So there are 5 factors, okay? The first factor is your training levels. The second factor being your body fat levels. Third factor is your banked up myonuclei. Fourth factor is your genetics. Fifth factor is your juicing levels, okay? So let's dive into each one of these factors, okay? The first one is your training level. So training level, what do I mean by training level? The most important thing about like a body recomposition, right? There are 2 main things that we are trying to achieve, right? One of them is like losing fat and the other one is building muscle. So to be able to achieve the perfect situation, we need to have as much fat as possible while having the lowest amount of muscle as possible, right? That's how you basically do the body recomposition. So if your training level, if you're a beginner, if you're a novice, if you are a person who's been training for a while with like completely wrong diets, let's say, with like very little protein intake and stuff, or someone who's been at the gym but hasn't gained significant amount of muscle, okay, which is like basically you are way off your genetic potential yet, body recomposition is quite a thing and it's quite possible, okay? The second, your body fat levels. So just as I mentioned earlier, the higher body fat you have, the better your chances are at a body recomp, okay? Because your body basically uses the stored up energy in your fat cells to make up for what's needed to build muscle, okay? And then eventually you achieve your desired results, which is a body recomposition, okay? And that's quite possible, as I said, but you need to have both of these factors in the right way, which is high fat, low muscle, okay? It doesn't work if you have like a lot of muscle, but at the same time you have a lot of fat, you cannot achieve a body recomposition, okay? Body recomposition only happens when you have low muscle and high fat, all right? And that also applies for people not necessarily obese, but also skinny fat people. If you're skinny fat, you're also in the same boat, you can go for a body recomposition, all right? So the third one, the banked up myonuclei. So banked up myonuclei, I mean, it's a little bit scientific term, basically, to saying it short for you have banked up muscle memory, okay? So basically you used to train in the past, but you had a long layoff, let's say, aka yours truly, okay? And then you get back into the gym, you're gonna be able to build muscle while losing fat at the same time, all right? Genetics, I said genetics play a role, but it doesn't play a role as in like there is no one who fits in these categories that cannot basically go for a recomp, but it plays in a role where maybe you lose fat a little bit slower than others, or maybe you gain less muscle than others, like this kind of stuff, okay? So genetics play a role, it is not significant, so don't think that, oh, I have bad genetics, so I cannot do about a recomp. No, it's completely nonsense, okay? If you fit in the above 3 categories, just go for it, okay? You're definitely gonna achieve results. And the last thing I mentioned in the factors, juicing, but I'm a natural athlete and this channel is most likely gonna be all natural people, I'm assuming. So we are not gonna get into that. I also don't have a lot of knowledge on that side of things, but it's just that when you're juicing, you basically get some of the stuff that you normally cannot, and then you achieve things that natural athletes cannot achieve, basically, okay? The first and the last question, which is, should you go for a bulk, cut, or recomp? As long as you fit in the categories that I just mentioned earlier, definitely go for a recomp. Don't even think about it, okay? You will be able to achieve great results. The difference of bulking and cutting. So, bulking and cutting have very specific goals, okay? Cutting is like you're trying to get as lean as possible. Bulk is like you're trying to gain as much muscle as possible. So they have very different goals. So it helps you focus on one thing specifically, and then achieve greater efficiency. While on a body recomposition though, you're not going to be able to burn the maximum amount of fat, nor you're going to be able to gain the maximum amount of muscle, because that is not your goal. You're trying to basically taking it a little bit slower, but achieving the best of the both worlds at the same time, all right? So this is what body recomposition is for. And another point that I want to make, even if you fit in any of these categories, there is a point in your body recomposition where it will stop, okay? So for example, even in my case, if you watch my video, my body transformation video, you can actually see the difference, right? There came a point where I was too lean to be able to continue a body recomp, okay? For men, I would say anything below 12%, okay? It depends on your genetics, right? Some people might be 13, 14, 10, like it doesn't matter. That's not the whole point. But it's just when you're too lean, you're not going to be able to achieve body recomposition anymore, because you just don't have enough fat in your body, and your body would love to have more fat, okay? Because it's a survival thing. They are trying to keep everything in order. It's trying to keep as much energy stored as possible, okay? So it's something that our body does. And when it comes to a point where your body fat levels are low, you're not going to be able to body recomposition, because you're going to be in a very high caloric deficit, okay? And this number for men would be, as I said, on average, I would say like less than 12%. For women, I would say less than maybe 20%, okay? That is going to be very hard to do a body recomposition, considering the fact that you don't have enough fat in the body, okay? And also for people who have been training for, like, let's say 6-7 years, almost very close to their like genetic potential in terms of building muscle, if you've been training like properly, of course, with like proper diet, proper nutrition and everything, right? So then also it's gonna be almost impossible, because your muscle gains will be extremely insignificant no matter how much fat you have. So there's no point in trying to aim for body recomposition. If you have a lot of fat, it would be better to just go for a cutting phase rather than trying to go for a recomp, okay? Because you're not going to be able to build much muscle, all right? And I think that'll be it for the video. I hope I answered the questions regarding, body recomp. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to comment below. I always reply to those. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, all right? And I will see you on the next one.